You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show, and Jay's not here yet. Wait, no. Liam's late today? What's going on? Let's get into it with the lead. Welcome into the show. Yeah, it's just Jay.
It's a Freaky Friday situation where I have become Liam and Liam has become me. So, hello.
If you see someone in a silver Mazda driving feverishly somewhere in the downtown Riverdale area, that would be Liam. So please be safe. But Liam should be here like probably any minute now. We leave his seat empty out of respect. But that's okay. Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show.
Man. You always got to honor the third.
Yeah.
The blue guy.
Live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. $50 GC giveaway coming up a little bit later on in the program. The show is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app, use the promo code NATION to get in on a huge range of markets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge coming up in a little bit, as well as we sink our teeth into another game day edition of the show and a stretch of hockey for the Edmonton Oilers that I think will be it will be a very, very good test. I mean, you got Tampa tonight. They are never an easy out, no matter how they're playing at the moment. Minnesota on Thursday, top team in the Central Division. They've somehow tracked down the Winnipeg Jets for that top spot.
Owns us.
Yeah, and Minnesota owns us. Saturday, matinee against the Vegas Golden Knights. Monday, Florida Panthers, rematch of the Stanley Cup final at Rogers Place. And then next Thursday, it's the Boston Bruins. So you eventually get a little bit of a reprieve with San Jose and Ottawa before Christmas. But these next five are going to be very, very telling for the Oilers. And we got a comment over in the YouTube chat from Genius. Boy, I butchered that. Tyler, do you believe we can win any game since we made it to the Cup final? And I do. There's not one of these five matchups, maybe outside of Minnesota, but that's more like PTSD on my part as a fan. Minnesota's the one that really scares me, but they can win any one of these five games.
Maybe they can win all five of these games. Thoughts?
Well, when you go back through their last little run here, and again,
they hot right now.
Yeah, like they're playing well. Even the loss against Vegas was a good loss. And you go back before that, like they beat Colorado. And I know Colorado, we'll talk about them in a little bit. Goaltending, whatever, sure. But they've played, in my opinion, 6 really good games in a row now.
Yeah, no, it's the team's starting to kind of figure it out. The shooting percentage is starting to improve. They're starting to get the bounces. Zach Hyman, he's out of his funk. Things are just kind of coming together now. And now we're seeing the Oilers. They're here.
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys. How was the offseason?
Yeah, and I mean, it's another thing. Like we talked at the start of the season when they were struggling, that you could see the shooting percentage was way down. That wasn't going to stay the same. The save percentage was way down. We knew Calvin Pickett
was
powerful. The penalty kill, terrible. And we saw last year that I guess it took a coaching change, but the penalty kill eventually bounced back, and it was largely, not the same guys, but same coaching staff. There's no reason why it should have fallen off that hard just because Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle are gone. So I think we saw the natural reasons why things would turn around, and what we've seen play out is exactly that. So Evander Kane is in just 1 8-game heater away from solving all our problems. And I wouldn't even say it's that.
3/8 the way.
Well, sure. They've won 3 in a row or 2 in a row. So there is that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, not 3. They lost to Vegas.
I'm forward looking after tonight. 3/8.
Yeah, after tonight. But again, they don't even need an 8-game heater to solve any of their problems. Like an 8-game heater puts them atop the division at this point.
Checked by Yaremchuk. Jeez,
that's a tough one.
That's a tough look.
But they don't even need the 8-game heater because their start wasn't 2-9-1 bad. Like they aren't going to need 16 in a row. They aren't going to need 24 of 27 or whatever it is. They found consistency.
But I know, but don't push away the 8-game heater. I'd still like to see one.
And they're still fully capable of doing it. I don't know if this is the stretch where it gets done.
Imagine it was.
I mean, if they go
sends a sign.
If they go 5-0 in these next 5 games, I will. No,
yes.
I'm just kidding.
You don't have to do cat food, but what would you do?
I don't know.
Would you go? You have to go to the hockey game dressed up as something.
We still owe you that from the golf tournament.
Oh my Lord, yes you do.
I'm just waiting for the outfit.
Oh, you're supposed to dress up as
we were supposed to be
fans,
but the BOA game's already happened.
There's one in March.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay, well then that's when we'll do it. Pat Puff and I lost our match to Jay and Chalmers at the Oilers Nation Open over the summer. So the deal was we have to go in full Flames gear to a BOA game.
Yes.
Which again there'll be
a sign that says I am Tyler Yaremchuk and I love the Calgary Flames.
What'll be funny about that is there are obviously a lot of people who see me at the games who just go like TikTok guy, Oilers Nation guys. Like they don't watch the show, they just see the Instagram reels and the TikToks, which is fine. But they're going to see me at the game in Flames gear and be like, what's that about?
Heel.
Yeah, maybe.
It went full heel.
Your romper truck says 7. I haven't needed to bust out the romper in a long time.
Oh,
so
man. Yeah, we do need a romper. Yeah, okay.
That was an old school one.
Can you bring out the romper to a game? That's a fair call out. Romper has success when it's in the building.
Yeah, like the romper is like a break glass in case of emergency kind of thing. That's at least what we've used it for in the past.
Well, I know, but now it's something to celebrate. You bring it out when really good things are happening. 8-game heater. Maybe every 8-game heater brings out the romper, and that's just the new rule.
That's the new rule. Okay, we're going to get through all of our usual Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day stuff. First off, a couple of comments over in the YouTube chat, which is brought to you by our friends at Odd Company and the all-new Nation beer. It is delicious. Perfect for game day or any day. Check it out at Odd Company. Find it at a liquor store near you, or just go to the brewery, one of 2 spots in Edmonton downtown or the Ritchie location. We got a couple of comments here. Tyler Mulick says that San Jose game feels like a trap. And yeah, we're looking way ahead at that point. But that San Jose game, I don't think is the one that's a trap. 2:00 on a Saturday. I could actually.
Yeah, it is.
No. I could see them beating San Jose like 8-2.
Yeah. And
then that Ottawa game. They probably have their Christmas party coming that night after a 6:00 start against the Sens or something, right? It's the last game.
The parties are better if they win.
I know, but they'll beat the hell out of San Jose and then be like, oh man, it's Christmas time now. We're feeling so good. And they'll lose like 5-2 to the Ottawa Senators. Your thoughts on this, Liam?
You know the show starts at 12, right?
You're telling me. I cannot believe that. I've never had I had a doctor's appointment today. Very serious.
First one ever.
An hour and a half it took. And then after the doctor's like, can you just wait a minute? I'm like, no, I have to go. So I'll be right back. Took like 5 more minutes. I just left.
That 5 minutes was all the difference.
It literally was the difference. So thanks for your help today, but not all of it.
The doctor or me?
No, I know I look directly at you. You're fine. So my apologies to everybody. I'm here now.
We got another comment in here. Mulick's dropped a couple good ones. He says, I don't want to hear no overpay talk for Blackwood. That is a great deal. That ties in nicely too. Guess what? Our Sherwood Ford Giant question of the show. It is a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day. Check out the Nation Valet service wherever you are in the city, no matter what your vehicle is. If it's routine maintenance, you can take advantage of the Nation Valet service. They come pick up your car, bring it to the dealership, do the work, boom, drop it right back off with you. And right now you can book if you book any service over $100 before December 31st, you will get a free tire swap on rims only when you bring your winter tires to Sherwood Ford and their service center. Here's your giant question. We now know, Liam, the return of the Mackenzie Blackwood deal, which
I was pretty close.
You were pretty close to our guess because we tried to guess at the end of last show. It's a 7-piece deal, which you don't hear a lot of those anymore. But AB, flash it up. Let's take a look. It ends up being Blackwood, Giovanni Smith, and a 5th-round pick going to Colorado, the 5th rounder in 2027. For Gorgiev at 14% retained, so Liam nailed that part of it. Nikolai Kovalenko, a 5th-round pick in 25 and a 2nd-round pick in 2026. I have a fun history nugget for you.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I know this.
You know the one.
It's wild.
Back in 1995, the Colorado.
Same day?
I don't think it was the same day.
When I originally read it, I thought it was the same day too. Anyways,
back in 1995, the Colorado Avalanche needed to make a deal to shore up their goaltending. Oh, actually, it was almost. It was on December 6th that year.
Oh, I knew it was close.
The Avalanche needed to make a trade to shore up their goaltending, so they acquired Patrick Waugh from the Montreal Canadiens. In exchange, they had to give up Jocelyn Thibault, Martin Rushinsky, and Andrei Kovalenko.
Oh, no
Flash
way.
forward to December 9th, 2025, or 30 years later, and it's Nikolai Kovalenko, his son, as the return from Mackenzie Blackwood, who's probably not going to be Patrick Waugh, but they're hoping they get similar results out of him, obviously. But that's the return. So when you kind of want to boil this down, and it's a long-winded way of eventually getting into my Sherwood Ford Giant question, but basically, if you were trying to do this from the Oilers' perspective, you need to think of a 25-year-old forward who's in the lineup. You need to think of the 2nd-round pick, which they could have done, probably. I mean, Calvin Pickard wouldn't have had to go the other way because that was kind of a money thing. But would you have given up Podkolzin in a second for Mackenzie Blackwood?
Well, I just saw his stats. The fact he has a 9.11 and a 3.0 GAA. Wow. He's doing some work. He's getting shelled.
Well, the thing on San Jose is exactly that. He faces a lot of rubber on some nights. And there's been games where he gives up a handful of goals and he faces 40 shots, so it doesn't matter.
In his last game for them, I know this very well because I bet on this game. He faced 52 shots and only allowed 3.
54.
54. I stopped looking after 52. I was too frustrated.
He faced 40 plus shots 3 times, 35 plus shots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times with the San Jose Sharks. So he was busy. What I do find interesting is that some of his worst performances were the games where he didn't face a lot of rubber. You look at the game against Ottawa. He played the whole game, only faced 11 shots, gave up 4 goals in that game, gave up 5 goals on 18 shots to the Jets, 4 on 20, 4 on 23, 3 on 23. Like, he had a lot of rough games when he didn't face a lot of rubber, which I think is interesting. I kind of talked to Carter Hutton about that, and he was just like, man, some goalies are wired that way. When they face a lot of rubber, they're very routine, rhythm orientated, and they just cruise. And if there's the games where it's 20 or less or 25 or less, they sit there, they get cold. I don't know if it's necessary.
They get thinking. They're thinking now between shots when it's just, you just let your natural ability take over because you're getting shelled.
Yeah. So you didn't answer the Sherwood Ford Giant question. Would you have given up a similar package if you were the Oilers for for Mackenzie Blackwood?
Well, if you're doing that, then you're writing off Stu.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. This is Mackenzie Blackwood is now their number 1 goalie. They're doing this because they need a number 1.
Yep.
They traded their number 1 to get a number 1. We're saying we're trading Pickard for Mackenzie Blackwood
because you want to establish a 1A 1B duo.
Sure, but it's because you have doubts with Skinner. So either if you're on the I like Skinner train, no. If you're still doubting Skinner, then yes, you would do that. But bye Skinner.
Liam?
I think it's interesting because I see what you mean, Jay, but I do think you could really run a 1-2 tandem with the two in his contract
for 1 year.
For 1 year, it is 1 year.
Bye.
They do have a replacement for Podkolzin, but does San Jose want to take on like someone like Podkolzin?
Sure.
Like I like know that Podkolzin's bad by
he's
any
younger
means.
than Kovalenko, and they took on Kovalenko.
Yeah, but Kovalenko makes a little bit less money. That's not really a factor in this. I don't think I would have done it if I was the Oilers because I just believe in Skinner. But I don't think it's a bad trade by Colorado, and I wouldn't label it as an overpay.
So
well,
here's where I'll go.
Grit.
Yeah, good Jamaican hockey player.
Yeah,
it is a good trade for the Avs, but it is an overpay for the Avs.
What makes you think it's an overpay?
Because look at the historical deals. Jake Allen last year at the deadline with term, with half that season or a quarter of that season still, and the season after.
Yeah.
And the Habs kept 50%, and all they had to give up was a 3rd round pick. So why does Colorado have to give up? Colorado has to retain money on Gorgiev. They get a pending UFA, no term, and they have to give up a higher draft pick, and they have to give up Kovalenko. Why are all 4 of those
term is left on Gorgiev's deal?
None.
He's
pending UFA.
Okay.
So they're not paying to get out of money.
They have to eat with him.
San Jose has the money. It doesn't matter.
No.
I just think Blackwood's better than Allen.
I don't think the track record backs that up whatsoever.
I think this year it is. I think
You're the king of the small sample size. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Like Mackenzie Blackwood last year at $8.99. It was on San Jose, granted, but go back through his last couple of years in New Jersey. He couldn't stay healthy. And if you're going to get a goalie, the best ability is availability.
Do you know, an interesting comparison is Jonas Korpisalo when LA got him from Columbus. Remember, he was nails for Columbus that year. He was really, really good. Went to LA. Only played 11 games, so they get him earlier in the season, which is good.
Played playoffs.
But yeah, 11 regular season games, 6 in the playoffs because the Oilers eliminated them for the 2nd year in a row.
But okay, tell me that deal then.
Well, it's a bit different because Gavrikov was also in the deal.
Who was the number 1 shutdown D-man on the market as a rental.
So what was the deal?
It was a 1st and a 3rd. Gavrikov was the 1st. Korpisalo was the 3rd, who was nails for the entire season, and he cost him a 3rd round pick.
And they had to give up Jonathan Quick in a deal, of course, too.
Well, yeah, to Columbus.
I don't know. I don't think it's really that bad, especially if
I don't think it's bad, but it is also clearly an overpay.
What if they just re-sign Blackwood?
Sure.
Then will it matter? So in this moment, I guess your answer is it is an overpay because you think it should have been a third.
It's an overpay, but the Avs absolutely had to do it because Blackwood is right now the best goalie on the market.
Mhm.
Can he be a legit starter? Yes, if he's healthy.
Doesn't have a choice. He
Has to be.
I think this is a great deal for Mike Greer.
Me too. I
Just
think
to like push his way through this, being like, no, I'm taking your second, and you're keeping some of Gorgiev.
because again, if they're sitting and negotiating, Chris McFarland in Colorado has probably 3 deals he can look
Yeah.
back on, including that Korpisalo one, and going, rental goalies don't go for more than a 3rd round pick. Goalies with term don't go for more than a 3rd round pick. And I know you can say Blackwood's a legitimate starter, but that's still leaning on upside. He hasn't played. I mean, he played 47 games back in 2019, 2020. Then he was a backup. Then he was hurt. Then he was hurt. And then last year he played on the Sharks. Like, he hasn't been a legitimate starter for a team with expectations for 5-6 seasons now, since he was in his early 20s. So
Yeah.
again, Chris McFarland could have looked at a bunch of examples and said, I'm giving you a 3rd and maybe a prospect. And Mike Greer held his feet to the fire. I think this was a really good deal for the Sharks. This is an overpay for the Avs, but I don't think they give a shit because they will sleep much better at night.
Yeah, I think it is a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Sure, the Avs might add a slightly overpay because they were desperate.
Mhm.
Greer cashed in on that,
Mhm.
but now they've got a better goal. They've got a goalie upgrade, which is
Yep.
ultimately the mission there.
The last thing I'll say is Colorado don't have any 3rd round picks until 2027. So
Yeah,
the
which might
next
be
2
why
years-
they
so
did the
which is-
5th round pick swap.
Yeah.
Moves a couple years, sure.
So I think, San Jose honestly just took really good advantage of a
Yep.
bad situation. But some people are putting in the chat, I think Colorado will become instant contenders.
No.
I think they've still got quite a few flaws they got to figure out first.
Original Posar's in. Watching the show live today, which is rare.
Whoa.
We usually don't get them watching live. Would have loved to upgrade on picks to Blackwood, but the $1.3 million of added AAV would take all their cap space. Any additional move would be money in, money out, not feasible to get the 4-5 D-man. And again, that's another good part. Both Zach and I have written pieces up on the site that you can go check out this morning. And Zach talked about the cap space. I talked about the assets. Another thing that does, again, kind of complicate this is Chris Knobloch today was asked for an update on Evander Kane when he was speaking to the media.
Oh.
And he said, don't expect to hear anything, any form of an update for at least another month.
Yes,
He probably just got so tired of
Kucherov. Him and Arvidsson. Let's Kucherov them both.
Arvidsson apparently could be skating next week. Yeah, he was also day-to-day on November 13th or whatever it was. But yeah, he's resumed skating. Could join a team practice next week. That's Arvidsson. So another thing that kind of complicates this whole why didn't they jump in on Mackenzie Blackwood thing is, again, if you make that as your move, that's the move. If you're going to do anything else, it involves an Arvidsson or a Henrique or a Kulak going out. And again, as much as we can sit here and people, I had a reply to my article on Twitter who said, you wouldn't care about that second, or you won't be caring about that 2nd round pick when the Oilers get eliminated in the playoffs because of their goaltending. Find me when the Oilers got eliminated because of their goaltending last year. Like, they didn't.
They didn't.
It's the same tandem. I feel like people are forgetting that. So as much as we can sit here and be uneasy about the style of play Pickard has, or we can be uneasy about the inconsistency that Stu brings to the table, they need a defenseman more than they need a goalie. And
Yeah.
I said this last year and I'll say it again. You have, to an extent, hitched your wagon to Stuart Skinner at this point. You know you need an upgrade on the blue line. You don't know what's going on with Evander Kane. You have limited cap space, and you have limited assets. Like, you look at their picks for the next few years, no 1st rounder this year. You have your 2nd and 3rd, but then no 4th and no 5th rounder. You kind of have to keep one of your 2nd or 3rd this year because you don't want to be sitting there going to your scouts, even though it's a cup year, and I know, but you got to add to your prospect pool. You can't sit there and go to your scouts and say you're not picking till the 6th round this season. Like, you're a scout, Liam. You can't do it.
It would be harsh on them.
It would be. You know
What if you won the cup?
I know.
Because
In hindsight, now
Colorado
let's use
did
the
that.
power of hindsight. We've won the cup.
Yeah,
Colorado
then-
actually
then you
did
don't
that.
give a shit. I
Well,
know, but you
then-
can't operate like that. The Oilers, Connor McDavid and Leon
Cup or
Draisaitl.
bust.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are here for the long haul now. There is no more operating in fear that you've ruined the McDavid era, blah, 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 blah. You need to be a very, very aggressive. I'm not saying you don't need to be aggressive, but you do need to keep 1.5 eyes on the right now and then just half an eye on the future. Just like, not even, both eyes, but
Which
your
half?
ears.
The front half or the
Keep
back
your
half?
ears on the future. Your eyes can stay focused on the cup, but one ear on the future.
You want to hear the past.
You
You
want
got to hear the past to see the future.
Next year, they do have all their picks, rounds 1 through 7. Okay. But again,
Bullet. Use it.
you only have so many bullets to shoot this season. And
I
you
know,
only have
shoot them all.
No, you
That's a
get
bad gun noise.
you get one bullet or one shot. Boo, one swing. It's got to be a home run swing for a defenseman. You can't take a half chop at a goalie and then be like, okay, we'll try to like.
But we're not doing the goalie. We've already established that.
That's what I mean, and I'm explaining why we're not. I'm doing the Sherwood Ford Giant question. Big part of the show.
I love Sherwood Ford the Giant.
There you go.
But the question was about the trade, and now we're talking about Oilers playoff implications, wasn't it?
No, I was just talking about the picks they have to deal.
Yeah, the question. Yeah, exactly. But now, okay.
I'm
Let's see what you're doing. You're being a host, and you're trying to bring it back to the root subject. I didn't go to school, so I don't know.
Blackwood would obviously help the Oilers.
Yep.
But I think to say that Skinner and Pickett are so bad that you need to go out and address the goaltending immediately is just wrong.
Yeah.
Like they're middle of the pack. They're fine. I know that numbers.
So is Blackwood. He's middle of the pack. They're not middle of the pack yet, but they're trending there.
Well, that's the other thing too.
I think they're pretty close since start of November.
I'm sorry. I know. But once again, like you can create any stats you want. I'm just looking at the season. 892 ain't it yet.
It's
for 905.
Why do those numbers matter?
905. What do you mean?
No. Why do those numbers matter if in the last 10 games they both have over a 900? Clearly things have got better. Like McDavid had 8 points in his first 10 games, but now he's top 10 in league scoring.
Yeah, I understand that.
But why does that matter then? Because if
you can just cherry pick whatever the hell you want to say, they can go on the next 10 games. But
the point is, if they progress better, upwards,
at the moment they're progressing. I'm saying they're going to get there, but so that's 892. You can't be satisfied with 892.
No, I'm not. But I'm satisfied with Skinner in his last 6 having a 920.
Yeah, that is great.
So what's the problem?
Let's get it to 905. It's the average. It's the season average.
I think the average in the league is
20 goals in 10 games and finish the season with 27 goals. How do you want to view the season?
I'm sorry, I didn't know your question.
I said if you scored at some point in the season 20 goals in 10 games, but finished the season with 27 goals, how do you want to view the season? Was it a 27-goal season? No, he scored 20 goals in 10 games.
Yeah, he got hot, and he did well.
This guy's a 2-goal-a-game guy.
But we're
talking can't just
about
isolate it to that moment in time.
We do that with Connor Brown. Everyone was so happy to keep him. He didn't score till 78, but I think the difference between the argument is
sample size for Connor Brown was the playoffs, which is a very important.
Which was 2 rounds.
Oh, sure.
And that's what my argument, I think, to defend my point a bit more is the start of the season for Skinner and Pickard was very bad. There is no arguing that.
Yes.
But I think the difference between what you're saying, if someone scores 20 in their last 30 or whatever, to do it at the start of the season and then get progressively better is way better than getting it halfway at the end.
Yes. So they're better right now.
Yes.
And I'm hoping they stay better right now.
Me too.
But right now, their season average is 892, and you cannot be happy with that.
But I don't care.
I don't care either. I'm with you.
I don't care.
Oh my God. Imagine they were 905 right now, what our record would be.
I really don't
That's
think
a big what if.
Maybe what do they got?
Oh my God, big what if. What if they just maintain 935 save percentage based on their last 10 games? They're progressing. They could be 970.
But I think the problem, and I think when you go back and look, they've definitely lost the Oilers games this year. But there's also been games where the Oilers just haven't scored goals. So
3-0. Devils, Montreal.
Yeah,
bing.
Columbus, they score late. Does Dallas, they score late?
To be a good host here, the subject is goalies.
No, but my point is, goalies isn't your biggest problem.
I agree, but they need to be above 900 though. At the end of the day, they're not our biggest problem. I agree.
Yeah,
but if they finish the season 892 average,
then that is bad.
That is bad.
Yes, agreed.
And right now we are at whatever the third of the way through the season ish. I know you're looking for the high five.
No,
or the side 5, and they're 892. So. I'm glad they're progressing above that. I'm not happy until they're 905, 910.
Sean is in. Skinner almost cost us the Van series. Need Pickard to save the series. I'm fine with Skinner. Pickard, though, get a top 4 D-man to pair with Nurse. Yeah, I agree. But exactly that, right? Skinner almost cost us the Van series. Needed Pickard to save the series. But then everyone keeps talking about how you need a better backup or tandem goalie for Stu in case you need to be saved with the playoffs.
Never forget what Cal Pickard did for us.
He was awesome.
He saved that run.
He did. That game, what was it? Game 5, it would have been, when JT Miller scored late. He was the only player that showed up in that game for the Oilers. He was amazing. Miller obviously scored late, but what people aren't saying in that is Skinner then came back and saved the series.
Yeah.
He played awesome
Skinner was
last
good
two
after
games.
that. He had the wake-up
Elimination
call.
games.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I'm not happy that happened, but the Oilers had a good enough backup to come in and save the day.
Okay, we got a couple of super chats I want to get to. Jaron is in, dropped in $2.79 and then didn't leave a comment, then followed it up with a bigger donation and said, Stuart Skinner is elite. People should stop. He never cost us a series. He's young and okay, but maybe somewhat consistent, but they all are. I think it's a good point. Goalies by nature are very, very inconsistent. It's a good time to remind you about our new super chat charity partner this year. It is the Ben Stelter Foundation. Who else would we want to partner with? You want to make sure your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us with the super chat. Proceeds from the super chat go to the Ben Stelter Foundation, who we obviously love supporting. And Mr. Burns, right on cue, drops in another one. Save percentage is not a great stat to base your entire opinion of a goalie off of. It tells you nothing about the elements of the game in front of the goalie.
You can't say that there isn't a truth to save percentage. It's just like plus minus. Plus minus is also flawed, probably more flawed than save percentage.
Yes.
But it is an indicator.
Totally.
It's an
It gives you
indicator.
An
idea,
indicator.
for sure.
But it's
Look at it. Okay. Let's look at Mackenzie Blackwood for a second. He's got his team in front of him. His GAA is 3. If you just saw that, you'd be like, he's having a terrible season. But his save percentage is 911.
Yep.
Which then, when you put those data points together, like, wow, this guy is getting shelled and he is stopping the puck.
Yeah. Mulek says no, plus minus is useless. No, plus minus in isolation is useless. I do think it's funny that people will be like, plus minus is useless. Then they'll be like, 5-on-5 goals for percentage. And it's like, it's more or less the same stat. So no.
It's an indicator.
Yeah.
Bundled with a bunch of other data points, you can make an informed decision. And you can also just watch them play.
Sergeant Battle, what's Jay's plus minus in the Jasper Pond hockey tournament?
Ooh, I do like to play rigid. I love to be stay at home, and then feed Tyler pucks up the ice that get deflected and hit him in the chin.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that's kind of my ideal. So I don't know. I hope I'm a plus player. I like to think I am. I'm 4 games? I don't know, plus 7.
Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament back this season as well, by the way. CHEhockey.com.
CHE-hockey.com.
It's honestly one of our favorite weekends of the year. It is so good, and we're so excited to be back supporting the people of Jasper this season. Talked about it more yesterday on Real Life if you want to dig in there. But we do got to move along a little bit here with the show and get into some more talk. Did our friends at Sherwood Ford give us some keys to victory, AB?
Yeah, we got some keys to victory.
All right, let's get back onto the topic and the task at hand. That is a Sherwood Ford Giant game day as Edmonton takes on Tampa Bay and get some keys to victory from our friends at Sherwood Ford.
Stuart Skinner has a save percentage of above 93 in 4 straight starts.
In the past 30 days, Connor McDavid has been doing his McJesus thing. He's currently leading the league with 24 points. That's 4 points ahead of second place. Beat that.
The Oilers and Lightning have averaged more than 7.5 goals in their last 10 games against each other.
Wow. High-powered offense is high-powered vehicle right there. Our shout-outs. Giant Mike, who's great. Quickly becoming the MVP is Noah, your Ford guy.
That was incredible.
Who is also a star on their TikTok. If you want a good laugh, go to their
he
TikTok.
He slid over the truck on the last one, and then he went under the truck.
Yeah.
What's he going to do next time?
That's actually a good question. Also, last week when we had our keys to victory, we were like, whoa, that lady's name is Lois Lane.
Mhm.
It's pronounced Louise. Yeah.
Well,
I was given the
not on this
correction.
show.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
yeah, everyone plays a role.
Yeah. She'll be lowest to us.
All right, lineup report tonight is brought to you by our friends over at Greta, your party spot in downtown Edmonton. A great spot pregame, postgame to watch the game. Their TV setup, absolutely elite. The arcade, the bar, the street food, it is all good at Greta. Check them out downtown. Again, pregame, postgame, it all works out. Oilers lineup tonight is staying pretty similar. In fact, it's the exact same. McDavid with Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins. Draisaitl with Kapanen and Podkolzin. Henrique with Skinner and Janmark. Derek Ryan with Connor Brown and Corey Perry. Are you surprised there are no changes? Would you have made any changes if you Freaky Friday'd into Chris Knobloch's body?
Oh, and just so you know, I am you today and you are me.
Because you were late, not Jay.
Oh, right on.
So we Freaky Friday.
Right on.
Okay.
So what did Jay say, Liam?
Jay would probably say how goaltending stinks when there's something like that. Oh, how Bouchard.
Who cares what the forward lineup
could
is?
mess this up. I don't know, something like that. This forward group is good. I think it's the right decision to keep it the same. And just looking here, yeah. I mean, what would you even have changed? Travis Dermott on the forward, gave him some ice. Do you know he's on the team still? Forgot about that.
So if you,
I think the only change is Brown for Kapanen. Would you have swapped him?
No, I keep the skill.
I just want to make a comment
About the forward
it's
group?
more as an observation. I'm hearing the past right now, Tyler. Hearing past Jay, and if past Jay and past Tyler and past Liam, if you would have seen today's lineup and saw Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen on our second line, give me your honest opinion of your past self.
How past? Like a year ago today?
Like a year ago. Sorry, we're gonna. Well, let's go January of last year because we're hot.
Okay. Oh, we're hot. Okay, I was gonna say because a year ago today, I would have seen this.
anything.
I would have seen this and been like, oh, thank God they signed Draisaitl. Like they didn't trade him.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, touche. There's that. Okay,
Like-
we've gotten past that.
Like they would not be playing Draisaitl with these guys if he was in a contract year and didn't have a new deal.
Oh.
He would play all 80. He would have played all 82 games with Connor McDavid. January of last year, I would have looked at this. If you would have shown me this lineup, and I would have been like, God damn, Dylan Holloway's hurt again.
I would have thought, why is Jeff Skinner not in the top 6?
I would have looked at
how bad is he doing? Like Podkolzin and Kapanen are higher than him.
But like our
Also-
thoughts of Kasperi Kapanen and Vasily Podkolzin last year
Yeah.
applied to
Yeah.
our roster and being on the second line. Isn't that crazy?
just Connor Brown didn't have a goal yet, and I would have been like, how is he back in the lineup?
Oh yeah, that would have.
But isn't that crazy? I'm actually worried. Like if this is your second line, this isn't good. I know we got some injuries, but
Yeah.
woof.
When Arvidsson's back, he takes Kapanen's spot, and you have Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson.
I get it.
That's a good second line.
I get it.
And also, again, you do have the built-in Evander Kane will be back one day.
I know.
So, yeah.
It's wild.
It
I
is.
think that those two are on our second line right now.
Ryan Spokowski. Wow, Corey Perry didn't retire. That's another good one. I also, if you would have shown us this a year ago, we would have spent the next hour being like, how did they acquire Jeff Skinner? And I think the only logical thing we would have come to is they swapped Darnell Nurse for him.
Or Kane, since he's not in the forward picture.
Oh, yeah, maybe Kane.
And then if you go to the defense, Aaron, I would have said, who's Ty Emberson?
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah, you would have shown us the defense and it would have been like, wait, so Nurse is still
Well,
here.
Stetcher on our second pair.
Stetcher's
Oh,
back.
boy.
Yeah, I would have been really confused. I would have looked at this and been like, surely someone's hurt. Like we're
Yeah.
really banged up on that right side.
No. We're pretty healthy on the back end.
Starting goalie tonight is expected to be Stuart Skinner. Just double checking things over, courtesy of our friends at Daily Faceoff. He is unconfirmed right now, but I see no reason why they wouldn't be going back to Stu. 4 straight games above a .930 save percentage.
That's pretty good goaltending.
I wasn't even doing that to like do that, but
Well, it is. No,
those 4 games, great goaltending.
we always spoke about it too when Pickard went in the other day. I think most of these Thursday games are just going to be Pickard games, right? Minnesota on the road.
yep.
Then who'd they play the week after? I think it's it's
So
Minnesota again.
Minnesota on the road and they come back for a 2 a.m. on Saturday. That's rude.
Yeah. It's
Rude.
yeah,
Rude.
that's fair. All right. Couple of other things I want to get to here. Oh, actually, no, Tampa Bay's lineup for tonight because there are some interesting notes. Andrei Vasilevsky is unconfirmed for tonight's hockey game. Their
Let's
forward,
go. Actually, he's been struggling, hasn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit. Top line for the Bolts: Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, and Jake Gensel. They're going with their own version of the Supernova Dynamite load 'em up top line. Braden Point has 10 goals in his last 10 hockey games. He is on fire right
I
now.
love Braden Point.
Certainly one to watch. Former Moose Jaw Warrior.
Yes, thank you.
Second line, Nick Paul with Cam Atkinson and Brandon Hagel. Very surprising to see Cam Atkinson on a second line in the year 2024. Connor Geeky with Gage Goncalves. Whoa, what? Who the hell is that guy?
Played for the Everett Silvertips.
Gage Goncalves.
Sure.
Goncalves?
Go Calvis. Calvis or Calvez?
Calvez.
Calvez.
I was going to wait to see how you pronounced it for pre-gaming later, so that didn't help me at all.
Connor Geeky and Mitchell Chafee. And then the fourth line is Luke Glendenning, Zemgus Gergensons, and Michael Essimont. These are not. These are not.
Lost some depth, eh?
Yeah, these are not the Tampa Bay Lightning you know and love from 5 or 6 years ago. This is a much thinner team, but they obviously, like I said, at the top line, still have all that firepower. The D pairings, kind of a similar story. If you're a casual hockey fan, you're looking at a lot of these being like, what? if you were a Bolts fan and 18 months ago you would have shown them this lineup, they would have been like, surely we're banged up on the right side. But Hedman with Darren Radish, Ryan McDonough with JJ Moser. McDonough's actually having a sneaky good year. So is JJ Moser. That's a shutdown second pairing. Expect them to see a lot of McDavid and Draisaitl tonight. Emil Lilleberg and Nick Perbix is the third pairing for the Bolts. And again, no update on the starting goalie. The injuries for the Bolts, they're without Anthony Cirelli, Four Nations faceoff roster, and Eric Chernak. So missing a couple of notable names here. I would expect they're going with Vasilevsky despite his struggles because I don't think they'll trust Jonas Johansson against this Oilers offense. And for as much as, yes, he has struggled, the last 2 games here for Vasilevsky have been back on the rails. More classic Vasilevsky.
And they play Calgary on Thursday.
Yes.
So I would assume they don't have a lot of offense right now.
Yeah.
Robert Munich was talking about that in our meeting today. They've not scored more than 3 goals all season, right? Something like
Germany.
That. Yeah.
No, they have to score.
What was he say? Last 21 games?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Why hasn't there only been like 24?
And they like haven't won a game at home since, or won a game on the road since the Oilers game, which was like
awesome.
The 3rd game of the season.
I was at that game.
Why are we talking about the Flames?
Because you love them. You're wearing a jersey to the game. Didn't you hear?
Yeah. All right. Next up for us is our game notes for tonight's matchup. It is brought to you by a new friend of ours. And Jay, you're actually going to love this. It's the Sober Carpenter. You're a big,
my non-alcoholics.
You love your non-alcoholics.
Yes.
And this is Craft Beer Reimagined. This year, Sober Carpenter celebrates 5 years of brewing award-winning non-alcoholic craft beer, from hoppy IPAs to rich Irish Reds. Jay is a big Irish Red guy. They've got the flavor without the buzz. Find out more at sobercarpenter.com. And cheers to Sober Carpenter, to 5 years of staying true to the craft beer for those who sip differently. You are like, again, you like mixing those in.
Oh, I do. Like, because it's, you can't.
I like the flavor. I like the feeling of sitting down, watching a game with a beer. And sometimes it's like, I don't want to have
totally
alcohol.
serves that purpose,
Yeah.
right? If it's, a weekday or a weekend, it doesn't matter. If it's just a night you don't want to have a drink, but you really want to have a drink, those things are delicious. And yeah, I can crush like 6 or 8 of those.
Game notes: the Lightning coming into a Western Canadian road trip. They started things off with a 4-2 win on Sunday in Vancouver. The Bolts currently have 5 players who have scored 10 goals or more. Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Jake Gensel, Brandon Hagel, and Anthony Cirelli. Also homecoming game for Brandon Hagel. Cirelli out of the lineup, but still 4 guys with 10-plus goals. Again, the depth not there in the same way that this Tampa Bay team has had, but that top 6 can kill you. And just to put it into reference up against the Oilers, Edmonton only has 2 players with north of 10 goals, and third on the team is Zach Hyman, who only has 6. So Tampa Bay's definitely got a bit more scoring power up front. It's just maybe the 3rd or 4th line, but I'll maybe have more on that with the keys to victory coming up a little bit later on in the show. Tampa Bay currently sits 4th in the Atlantic Division, but they boast the best goal differential, plus 22. So again, when things go well, I think they click into that Tampa Bay Lightning of old kind of mindset, and it's fine. I just think with that lower part of the lineup, with their defense having been a little bit picked apart for cap reasons, and with Vasilevsky having a few struggles, when it's off, it's off. When it's on, they are the Bolts again. And it's a tale of 2 teams. It'll be interesting to see who the Oilers get tonight.
Screaming over.
Well, what did our friends at Sherwood Ford tell us? Over the last 10 meetings between these 2 teams, they've averaged more than 7.5 goals per game.
Yeah. It's screaming over.
It might be.
I'm going to say under, because
You're a contrarian.
Because Stuart Skinner's playing so well.
that, but also too, like John Cooper is one of these guys that picked the Four Nations roster. Revenge games for Skinner and Hyman. So I'll say the Oilers do well defensively. Shut them out. Not shut them out, but like shut them down, I guess. Thinking of what I'm laying down? No, they did it against St. Louis like 2 nights ago.
Over.
They didn't go over.
Oh, it was
under.
4-2.
Under.
You're right.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Mulick said, why is it a homecoming for Brandon Hagel? I know he's listed as Saskatoon, but he's a Mornville boy.
He's from Morinville.
Yeah.
Here's
He
a
was
fun
born
story.
in Saskatoon, but raised in Mornville.
Not sure.
Forged.
My dad is drives trucks, like semi trucks for a living.
Yep.
And one of the
Lorries is what they call them.
lorries, yes. And one of the yards you would go to in Morinville is ran by the Hagel family.
Oh.
And Brandon would work there in the summers when he was still in Chicago. He would come back and help his dad. So my dad would be loading up the truck, and Brandon Hagel would be there working. There you go.
There's a cool story.
Hey, hardworking. I like it. This is why he's.
That's why
carved
he's
out the
on Team
career he
Canada.
has.
That's why he's on.
Like, remember when he was in Chicago? He was like an unknown quantity until he wasn't, and all of a sudden, he's this massive player.
Yep. We did this last week on the show when we pulled up my old tweet that was, would you trade Brandon Hagel for would you trade Puljujärvi for Brandon Hagel?
I said yes to that. Did I respond? Check the responses. I think I would've been all over
no,
that.
you did not.
I did not. When I said no.
Yeah, you were in your Bison King jersey era.
You said, look at the numbers. Look how good he is in a neutral
I
zone.
don't believe that.
Yeah, you said he makes Connor McDavid better.
I got a Bison King jersey because I love the meme. That was a meme jersey. That wasn't a Puljujärvi.
Okay.
I believe in him jersey.
Sure.
Oh, I don't know.
I still remember
let me just listen back to the past.
I remember the first game you wore it to. We went with Chris. We went to the Columbus game and he scored twice.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh my god, this is such a great omen. Yeah. Did he make Finland's team?
No.
He made my Finland all budget team.
That's what I'm thinking of. Which is that article went out, right?
It did. Part 1 will be out tomorrow.
all budget.
Wait, is it out already or it's going out?
Part 1 of Canada and Finland is out. Sweden and US will come out tomorrow. I made rosters under the salary cap for the 4 nations. Someone sent me a DM and asked me if we would do it. So I did.
Naeem says Bison King jersey is the same thing as buying the Hawk Tua crypto. I know you were heavily invested in
the
that.
The Bison King jersey still holds value because I could turn into a Yaremchuk jersey very easily.
I would actually say that decreases the value.
Oh, weird. Shocker.
That talk to a coin can go back up too.
Yeah.
You gotta hold diamond hands. Caleb Jones just cleared waivers. Alrighty.
Damn, thought we would add him.
Who was it that said they were going back and listening to old episodes of the podcast? It was Jay on the Nation Vacation.
Yeah, I had a bad take.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm sure
I can't remember what it was. But
no. You said we can trade Evan Bouchard because Ethan Bear's here now.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's way back.
Yeah. If you went back and watched a lot of those, it would probably not
But
look good.
Bouchard would have been like still not even on the team when I would have said that.
I think that might have been in the Canadian division year. Where
I think it was even before that.
No, I think it was the Canadian division year because they weren't sending him down to Bakersfield. Remember, they were just keeping him here to practice.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out if
Boosh.
Yeah, Boosh, not Bear. Because remember Bear? That was the year against Winnipeg. Bear played in the top 4 that year. It would line up.
Yeah, those are the days.
Now let's all say a take we're really proud of. Something we got right.
Probably the one of saying Skinner and Pickett are a good goaltending duo.
Yeah,
I said that today.
Mine is Matthias Janmark is a damn fine hockey player.
Hey,
I agree.
Brett Kulak over here. Brett Kulak.
I really like
our
Janmark.
least favorites. Probably when I said Skinner should make $9 million. Ironically,
yeah, that one blew up quick on us.
That? Why would you say that?
Well,
you can never put that much
it
money
was-
in a goal.
it was before the season.
It was
We
pre-Swayman.
still can never put that kind of money in a goalie.
Well,
Like the Rangers are going to dread that Shesterkin deal. That
but
is
I think you
way
would.
too much money in a goalie.
I don't know. I think maybe. I think he's really good though. So,
Yeah, he's probably the best, but
would you not rather have him than play against him? Worry about the problem down the road.
like think about you could find a $5 million goalie that's like maybe point, I don't know, whatever.
I mean, the
6, 10,
yeah.
15 points lower than Shesterkin.
I did think,
And
about
then
that
get
too.
a $5 million impact player.
But the Oilers are
or
doing
6
that
and a
right
half.
now, and everyone's complaining about it.
But the Oilers are ironically higher of the standings than the Rangers right now too, and their goaltending. And I actually thought about that too because you look at the Stanley Cup winners last time, minus this one with Bobrovsky, who had been bad. You had Kemper, who was on a cheap deal. Aiden Hill. That's as far back as I can go. But
That's it. That's all.
hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No.
But also, sorry, that was a mailbag question. And he was like, what is your take on this? My only take is I'm just happy he's not with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Just Durkin.
Because they would have probably backed up the truck.
Yeah,
more.
everything.
Yeah. Okay. One other thing I wanted to talk about as we continue along on the show. Some news today from, I believe it was Pierre LeBrun and the TSN insiders who were reporting this, but Connor McDavid and the Oilers have kind of, I guess, agreed to not talk about a contract extension till after the season. So it's It's a little obvious because he's not eligible to sign any extension until July 1, but they could have talked this year, figured out the deal, then just announced it on July 1. It sounds like they're going more the Leon Draisaitl route on this thing, which is focus on hockey. Don't worry about it. High level of trust between the two sides. We'll talk about things in July.
Don't make us wait, Connor.
You don't want to wait till August?
Just don't make us wait. I don't think he will.
Is this contract in your eyes easier or more complicated to do than the Draisaitl one?
What was complicated with Draisaitl?
Well, I mean, it did take them a couple of months, so it's reason to believe there was a bit more negotiating.
Yeah.
But I think another layer of that too is the staff wasn't in place to negotiate with him.
That's a good point. They were waiting to hire Stan. We did hear that too. Like they kind of had to do things in a certain order to get to the Draisaitl negotiation. They didn't want to do it without the GM in place.
I would think this is probably easier. But also, it is worrying how much he's like, I love everybody here. Thank you so much.
Why?
Because sometimes that could be like a sign of like,
oh, Liam,
you think
stop that?
You
right
think in the
second.
middle of the season he's already reminiscing about his time in Edmonton?
I'm joking. He'll be fine. They'll re-sign him. I think if they were really that worried about negotiating things, they would have been trying to push it more right now.
Like July
I think
1st.
these all happen, right? Like, yeah.
No, I think it'll be like July 12th.
I think it's a power. Oh, sure. I'm just telling you what I want to happen.
What a random why?
Wait till like the hoopla of the early off season's done, cup parade's over, and then like we calm down. Connor goes to the cabin for a week. Christopher Palmer said after Draisaitl's wedding, maybe they want it right before so they can like all be like, woo.
Maybe it's July 3rd. And the reason being like, see what the GM can cook and who's available. And then maybe that decides how much he takes. That is such wishful thinking.
Kale's putting you in timeout, Liam.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was
thank you, Kale.
Sergeant Battle. I think this is the correct take. Here, Connor, this is a blank check. Put down any number for the next 8 years. That's all it is. If Connor says run me the max, 20% of the cap, and he wants 18 mil, all right, here you go, Connor.
Come on, Connor. I hope Connor's smarter than that.
One thing I am actually happy about, there was a report, I don't remember when it was this season, that they were looking to shorten contracts down to 5 years. Like, thank goodness we're going to be past that when McDavid and Draisaitl sign.
Christopher Palmer, you aren't taking Leon and Celeste spotlight, Tyler. Come on. We aren't announcing Liam's new deal before your wedding. Fair. Let's continue along and get to the Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION to get in on a huge range of markets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm coming off a dub. I'm finally back in the win column. Did you update the graphic correctly?
No.
The one time I win?
I was 5 minutes late for the show. You think
I thought that's why you were late, maybe. So I got one right, and it was like a plus 350 banger. So I think I'm right back in the mix on this.
I don't even remember what I did last game.
Well, then that's a loss.
No, it's not.
I won.
No, you didn't.
What'd I pick? You guys text me. I was away.
Oh yeah, you were
gone.
gone.
I'm like, oh shit. I was like in an Uber.
So the last game was St. Louis, right? Oh no, yeah.
But we wouldn't. have
No, the
Saturday
last game we would have done was Columbus.
Didn't I do Oilers in the over? I did the Oilers. In the
Oh
over.
yeah, so Jay hit.
Let's go. I also got the CEO of Better Collective North America and the COO to ride with me.
And you guys won. So I won. Jay won. Have you looked up if you won?
I'm loading.
Jay's record would be 2-12-0 now. You'd be 3-9-1.
Okay.
And if Liam lost, he's 7-6-0.
We don't know that yet.
But we don't know.
Do you remember the show was a bit out of order because Tyler Ennis came in towards the end?
Oh yeah, we got all wonky.
So I'm just trying to find. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Liam. Okay.
Come on.
There it is. Okay, Draisaitl. Oh, baby. Is this the one?
It's the Columbus game.
Draisaitl, 2+ points. McDavid, 2+ points. McDavid, 3+ shots. Draisaitl, 3+ shots.
Draisaitl did not get 3+ shots.
2.5. He didn't?
And McDavid didn't either. McDavid finished with 1 shot against Columbus. Draisaitl finished with 2.
Which game did I hit this on then? No, I hit this one.
No, you didn't.
Did I do one earlier in the week that was also pretty big?
I don't know. It is. You are the guy who updates the graphics.
Yeah.
I have to
And you wonder why we question the record
Hey.
and the unit size. You can't even Figure out his own stuff.
I think your record's pretty straightforward to figure out.
So that would have been a plus 300-ish win. So I'm clawing back out of this.
All right, let's get to our.
I remember what happened. I did a bunch of other bets at home and had a huge night because I bet McDavid 3+ points and he had 4.
Sounds like you're taking in moral victories. All I care about is the contest, not my account
Well, I
balance.
still think I'm winning.
All right, my pick for tonight. McDavid 4+ shots on goal. Kucherov 4+ shots on goal. As much as I think the Oilers can win any game they're in a match or any team they're in a matchup with, I don't like the price of a -150 favorite here. So I'm just going to take some shot props. I like McDavid to go 4+ tonight. He had hit this and it was 3 straight, and then he missed in his last 2. So I will use the logic of he is due. And for Nikita Kucherov, he's hit this in 3 of his last 4 games. So I like both of these guys to hit 4+, and the plus 375 price tag is nice.
That is good.
Liam? Or Jay?
Draisaitl 2+ points, plus 155.
You're a simple man.
I'm an easy peasy man.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's in the bankroll as well.
it is. There you go. Inspirational.
There you go. Jay, what do you got tonight?
Oilers stay hot. Money line. Braden Point, my boy. Gonna get one.
Daryl.
And yeah, Daryl Point. He's due.
He is probably due. You got one last
the
game.
vibes around Daryl are positive.
Yeah.
All right. So why not vote of support with my bet? Why not?
Sure. All right.
What's that? What was it? +4 something? +3?
575.
Plus 575.
Darnell
Won that tonight, and I'm basically plus money on the season.
Yeah, Darnell Nurse 1 point in his last 5 games. So
Which came last game.
Yeah, he's on it. Gonna be on a
So
heater.
he was due. He got his point, and now he's due again.
I know you're chirping Jay, but it's going out on Darnell, and we don't need that.
Yeah, it's a,
Hey, I'm a Donnell
due.
believer.
he's due to cash in more.
I hope so.
This is the guy that thinks Stu's is progressing to 970 save percentage based on his last 5 games. Like what?
Well, we'll see.
I can't put a vote of confidence against Daryl.
We'll see what happens when Stu outduels Vasilevsky tonight.
keys to victory
Which
for
might
tonight.
happen
Yeah, I probably will.
with the Darnell Point.
Keys to victory for our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer. They are hockey fans helping hockey fans, and they are right in the heart of Sherwood Park, home of the $50 biweekly ATV, the $105 biweekly boat. Whether you want to get on the trails or get on the water, Sherwood Power Sports and Marine is your spot. Jay, what's your key to victory for tonight?
Oh, it's Tampa Bay. So I want a playoff performance tonight. Tampa's still not the same Tampa they were, but they've got the immense firepower. So I just want to see a very strong 2-way effort and shell Vasilevsky because there's cracks.
Liam?
I'm gonna go with the depth to come through. We kind of touched on it in the Tampa lineup. I don't think they're as deep as they have been in the past, and the Oilers' depth, to their credit, have played really well recently. So I'd like them to keep stepping up on top of obviously the big guns showing up as well.
Fair enough. For me, Vasilevsky, watching Vasilevsky in person is always so like, I don't know, jaw dropping, but he's so big.
He's massive.
And you like don't quite, almost doesn't translate on TV. When you see him in person, he is the Michelin man in there. So finding a way to solve Vasilevsky is like obviously going to be a big key. And he's shown some cracks so far this season. He's still very, very good when he's at his best. But I'll just go ahead and say the Oilers need to be really, really opportunistic in the offensive zone. Like when you get a wide open look or two, you need to make sure you're taking advantage of it, because if Vasilevsky is on, you're not going to score on weak looks, right? More often than not. So they need to make sure they're really opportunistic in the offensive zone. And also Tampa Bay relies on their power play a lot. We got a comment about that in the chat. So another big thing is going to be the Oilers penalty kill staying hot. It was from Aaron, who says Tampa relies a lot on the power play. Our PK's on fire.
They're 7th in the NHL.
Yeah. So
That's what my key's goaltending, because you look at that list of names there. Yes, the bottom 6 doesn't have a ton of talent. They are believed 2nd in the NHL in goals. So they can still light you up.
They score.
All right. Oilers penalty kill since the start of November is up in the top half of the league, tied for 12th at 81.8%. If you want to go just the last 30 days, so from November 10th on, it's actually the best in the NHL, 3.5% clear of second place.
Damn.
It's been trending.
It's trending.
Properly.
Get it back on the rails.
Yep. Duran is in, dropped in one more super chat for the Ben Stelter Foundation. Honestly, I think McDavid's reaction to Holloway taking the bag and not choosing the team will mean he's not in it to be the highest paid. That is an interesting take. I do think Connor McDavid feels some pressure from like the NHLPA and things like that. And I also think he probably wants
they must hate Sidney Crosby, PA.
Yeah. He probably wants that title of like biggest contract in NHL history. I think there is a little bit of something to that.
Another $100 million, be the first one to earn $200 million.
You could do that.
Like
I think
in itself is.
If he were to sign 8 by, I think the number is dead on 15 or like 15.1 or 2, it would be the biggest total dollar value deal ever in the NHL. So I think that'll be it. It'll be 15 point. He'll go like 15.5 or
14.97.
He'll go higher than that. Maybe it will be 14.97. I don't know. I think he wants to win. That's the bottom line.
Imagine he signs for 9.79797.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, fair.
7 years.
Naeem, wild how much better the PK looks when the goalies aren't letting in every other high danger chance. Yeah, I mean, Calvin Pickard's PK save percentage is no longer 500. So that'll also help. Your goalies need to be your best penalty killers. And the Oilers goaltending getting better. It's no surprising that correlates with the PK improving as well. Gord is in talking about that Holloway thing. I love that 97 roughed him up. Yeah, I like that too. It was good. Gord, 14.000097.
Sure.
NHL players like doing that stuff. All right, there you go, boys. Oilers and Bolts tonight. 7 o'clock puck drop. Pre-game with Bordzio start at 6 o'clock right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Post-game immediately following as well. That is a wrap. Oh, one more super chat for the end of the show. I thought I was buying you guys beers from QF Pro. Oh, with the super chat money.
You still can.
Yeah, you still can. If you want to come to the party on Thursday, we'll have more info on that tomorrow. We're going to see if we can open up a few more spots for some last-minute people who want to come down to Dog Patch right here in the Riverdale area and watch Thursday night's game with us. That is a wrap on today's edition of the show. Thanks for tuning in to another Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of things. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. See you then, and oil up.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit Oilersnation.com.